Okay, let's start our lesson. So last Friday, we were talking about the arithmetic operations among the complex numbers. So we have learned and we have done some exercise on adding complex numbers, subtracting the complex numbers, and multiplying complex numbers. Okay, and then today we are going to learn some techniques of finding the division of complex numbers. Okay, but before doing the division of complex numbers, we have to learn a concept first. Okay, so let us go to page 18 of the textbook. Okay, page 18. So when we are going to do the division, okay, or the fraction of complex numbers, we need a concept of conjugate numbers, okay, or complex conjugate, or just conjugate complex numbers, just like here. I mean, this concept, conjugate complex numbers, okay? So that is like this. A complex number Z is in the form of A plus BI, okay? Where I is equal to square root of -1 and I squared is equal to -1. Okay, so this is the basic concept of complex number. Okay, and Z is a complex number and we call the conjugate of Z to be, so normally we will write this as Z bar. Okay, Z bar is equal to A minus BI. OK， 好嗱，呢個咧 Z 頭上面有一畫咧，書好似冇講過呢樣嘢嘅。OK， 咁但係咧即係如果你之後去學多啲數學嘅話咧，咁我哋咧全部都係用呢個 Z bar。OK， 頭上面有一畫咧係代表呢個 conjugate of Z。conjugate of Z 係咩嚟嘅咧？好簡單嘅啫，就係將佢個 imaginary part 變咗做 negative。OK， 係 negative of the imaginary part。得唔得？ The real part is just copied. The imaginary part is the opposite. If it is positive originally, then the conjugate will be negative. If the imaginary part is negative originally, then the conjugate will become positive. Okay, just like this. So for example, if we have a Z is 3 plus 4i, then Z bar, that is the conjugate of Z, will be equal to 3 minus 4i. All right, if Z is equal to 5 minus 2i, then the Z bar, that is the conjugate of Z, will be equal to 5 plus 2i. Okay, if Z is an purely imaginary number, Z is equal to 10i, then the Z bar, that is a conjugate, is equal to negative 10i. Okay, so just change the imaginary part to its opposite, will be the conjugate. So if Z is a real number, Z is equal to 12, then Z bar, because Z is a real number this time, it does not have an imaginary part, or we can think that the imaginary part is equal to 0i. Then plus 0i and minus 0i are basically the same. Okay, which means that Z bar will be just equal to 12. Okay, so that is like this. Okay, good. So this is the new concept about the conjugates of a complex number. Okay, so we will say that Z and Z bar is a pair of conjugate numbers. 得唔得？一 對嘅 conjugate，或者佢係佢嘅 conjugate， 一個係另外一個嘅 conjugate， 又或者我哋會話佢哋係一對嘅 conjugate 咁樣一 pair 嚟嘅 ，OK？ 好，學咗呢個 concept 咯 ，so this is about the conjugates，OK？ 呢一度咧你都學多，即係記多一個技巧 ，so let us learn one more technique here. Okay, so we are going to use this technique many times when doing the division of complex numbers. Okay, this is when a complex number is multiplied by its conjugate. Then it will be like this. So I'm going to talk about this part now. Okay, when a complex number a plus bi is multiplied by its conjugate, a minus bi, then we are going to use the identity x plus y times x minus y. Okay, we know that x plus y times x minus y is always equal to x squared minus y squared. Okay, so in this case, the x is just a, so it becomes a squared, and then minus the y squared. The y is bi, so it becomes bi bracket squared. Okay, and then the a squared will be a squared minus b squared I squared. But the I squared is always changed to -1, so it becomes b squared times -1. And it becomes a squared plus b squared. Okay, so it is always changed to a squared plus b squared when the conjugates of two complex numbers are multiplying together. Okay, 即係一個 complex number 乘佢自己嘅 conjugate 嘅話咧，永遠都會變咗做咧佢嘅 real part 嘅 square 加佢嘅 imaginary part 嘅 square。Okay, so it is always like this. Okay, 好啦，嗱跟住咯，我哋入正題，今日嘅正題啦。So let's go to the division of complex number. When one complex number is divided by the other complex number, then what shall we do? Okay, what shall we do to simplify this? Okay, it will be like this. So let me clear the board first. Next page.好，記呢個技巧啦。So it is when you see a fraction, and when you see that there is an I term in the denominator, it is not allowed in the answer. So it is not simplified. Okay, and then the question will ask you to simplify this fraction and express the answer in the form of a plus bi. Okay, which means that the I term is not allowed to be in the denominator of a fraction. Okay, 分母不可以有 I term 存在嘅。如果佢有 I term 嘅話咧，或者你計下有 I term 嘅話咧，喺分母啊，即係未化簡嘅。咁我哋而家就係要學咧點樣去化簡佢啦。Okay, so it is 1 over 1 plus 2i, and the method is very simple. So we are going to do it like this: 1 plus 2i, 1 over 1 plus 2i is equal to itself multiplied by another fraction. Okay, and for the top part and the bottom part, we both use the complex conjugates. Okay, it's 1 minus 2i, 1 minus 2i. When you are multiplying, I mean, when this fraction is multiplied by z over z, okay, something over something, you did not change the value of that fraction, but you just try to change the format of that fraction. 記住啊，我哋而家呢招咧成日都會用㗎，以後啊，尤其是啲即係數學裏邊咧，成日都做呢樣嘢嘅。我哋想改變一個數字嘅格式，但係保留佢嘅 value 嘅，唔能夠改變佢嘅 value 嘅，即係唔係想倍大佢，唔係想 縮細佢，唔係想加啲嘢俾佢，唔係想掹走啲嘢，我哋想改變佢呢個數字嘅格式嘅啫。咩為之格式啊？我哋而家呢個咧 complex number 咧個 I term 唔可以喺分母，就係呢個格式啦。咁我哋要改變到變成點樣樣咧？就係只可以 I term 只可以存在喺分子 ，OK， 或者係一個數咁樣樣，係咪？總之唔可以係分母嘅。咁我哋嘅方法就係點樣啊？就係分子分母都成一個 conjugate 俾佢，同一樣嘢喎，記住。因為唔可以改變佢嘅 value，所以上下要係一樣嘅，得唔得？如果上下唔同嘅話咧，你就會改變咗佢嘅 value 啦。OK， 好啦，個方法就係咁樣啦。But what shall we do to simplify this? When a fraction is multiplied by another fraction, we multiply the top parts to the top parts together. Okay, so that is 1 times 1 minus 2i. And then you multiply the bottom parts together. 1 plus 2i times 1 minus 2i, like this. Okay, and for the top part, 1 times anything is just that thing, 1 minus 2i. And then for the bottom part, it is always in the form of a plus b times a minus b, x plus y times x minus y. So it becomes x squared minus y squared. Okay, so it becomes 1 minus 4i squared, right? But the I squared is always changed to negative 1. Okay, so it's 1 minus 4 times negative 1. So it's 1 minus 2i over 5. Okay, 好啦，嗱，望一望呢度先。而家係咪去到呢個 step 咧？分母已經冇晒 I 啦。That is very, very good already. Okay, but the question is asking us to express the answer in the form of A plus BI, which means that we need to separate the real part and the imaginary part. Okay, so we need to split the fraction into two parts. 1 over 5 minus 2 over 5 times I, like this. In this case, we can clearly see that the A is 1 over 5, and then the B is negative 2 over 5. Okay, so it's in the form of A plus BI, but this time the B is negative. Okay, it's negative 2 over 5. All right, so this is how we can simplify a fraction involving the I term in the denominator by multiplying this, okay, the conjugate on top and the bottom, and then top times top, bottom times bottom, and then simplify. Okay, all right, so now I would like you to do the instant drill number 8, and then remember to submit to the MathApp web system. Okay, so I give you 4 minutes.
老Sir，
係
我想問咧，因為我啱啱即係之前交咗幾份功課啦，咁我再翻去睇翻我交咗嘅功課，係佢就冇寫俾我 resubmit， 即係冇寫 submit the solution， 但係我係交咗嘅，即係可能係你收咗之後，係咪已經收咗啦已經？
你係咪交咗3題㗎？
唔係，我交到第20條。
咦？我望一望先啊。
唔該，老Sir。
我印象之中你好似交，我淨係見到你有3條嘅喎。咦？啊，5條係嘛 ？total 交咗。
係啊係啊。
冇錯，收到5條，係啦。
唔該，老Sir。
OK， 得 good。 Okay，let's do the classwork now。今次呢個 classwork 咧，咁就係去翻9月4號嗰份嚟嘅，其實因為嗰次我未做晒嘅。咁你去 Math App 嗰度咧，去到揾翻9月4號嗰份 classwork 咁得噶啦。咁應該係去到第6題嚟嘅嗰度。好，留意私聊啊！ Okay, let's check the answers.嗱，應該唔係太難嘅呢度。我見到好多堂都計啱㗎啦，咁有啲堂就即係大二錯咁樣嘅啫。So just need to be very, very careful. Okay, part A. So 1 over 4 minus 3i is equal to 1 over 4 minus 3i times 4 plus 3i over 4 plus 3i. Okay, and then for the top part, 1 times 4 plus 3i. So multiply them together, and then for the bottom parts, again, you multiply them together. Top part, it is just 1 as 4 plus 3i. And the bottom part, it becomes 4 square minus 3i bracket square. Okay, so it is 4 plus 3i over 16 minus 9i square. But the I square is changed to -1. So it is 25. Okay, and then you need to split. It becomes 4 over 25 plus 3 over 25i. So that is the final answer of part A. Okay, and then for part B. For part B, as 17 over 1 plus 4i should be multiplied by 1 minus 4i over 1 minus 4i. Okay, and then when you multiply their top parts together, it's like this. Multiply their bottom parts together, like this. And then you 嗱呢度咧有少少即係巧妙嘅，咁啊有啲堂即係如果睇得快少少嘅話都知道噶啦。我今次唔將個17咧乘入去住 ，OK？ 因為咧我心存僥倖，睇下咧有冇啲弱揀嘅陣間 ，OK？So it is 1 square minus 4i bracket square. Okay, 17 times 1 minus 4i over 1 minus 16i squared. So it is just 17 times 1 minus 4i, and then it becomes 17 for the denominator. So this 17 and this 17 can be cancelled by each other. So what is remaining is just 1 minus 4i. Okay, and that is the answer. Okay. Open that. So let me clear the board. Next question. Next example. Example 9. Example 9. Exactly the same. When you need to simplify 1 plus 5i over 2 minus 3i. Okay. You need to simplify this because the I term is not allowed in the bottom part. Okay. So you need to do this. 嗱，記住喎，我哋額外乘俾佢嘅係要針對分子定分母咧？係要針對分母嘅。Okay, so we need to focus. We need to attack the denominator, not the numerator. So we need to focus on the 2 minus 3i and multiply the conjugate of this number to the 2 minus 3i. So we need to multiply the 2 plus 3i. But the top and bottom must be the same. Otherwise, the value will be changed. We just want to change the format. We don't want to change the value. So it must be 2 plus 3i over 2 plus 3i. Okay? And then when you multiply the two fractions together, you multiply their top parts together, you multiply their bottom parts together. Okay, and then for the top parts, these two brackets are not the same, are not related. You need to do the 4-term multiplications, 係嘛？逐個去乘，1乘2就係2，1乘 3i 就係 3i，5i 乘2 10i，5i 乘 3i 15i square. Okay, and then the lower part is a square minus b square. And you need to simplify the upper part. Okay, it becomes 2 plus 3i plus 10i will be like terms. Okay, so they can be added together, becomes 13i. And then this I squared becomes -1. So this becomes -15. -15. And then it is 4 minus 9i squared. Okay, and what is remaining on the top is, again, so we have two like terms. 2 minus 15 are like terms, can be calculated. It is -13 plus 13i. And then 4 minus 9i squared. The i squared is changed to -1, so it becomes 13. And very good, you need to split the fraction. The first fraction is -1, and then second is just I. So it is just -1 plus I. All right? Okay, your turn. So let's do the instant drill, number 9. Part A and part B. I'll give you 4 minutes.陳正南同埋何曉晴，我睇唔到你哋兩個嘅交嘅 file。先啦，係啦，陳正南同埋何曉晴。可能要再交過啦，你哋。我知道，但係我睇唔到你，睇唔到啊！你自己睇唔睇得翻？ 江子柔我都係睇唔到你交出嚟嘅相啊。
啊好，我再睇
你試一試，再試一試。
好。
OK。Okay, let's check the answers.好嗱，呢度咧即係小心啲做，唔好太過急啊！你快到就快，但係如果快唔到嘅話咧，就盡量做啱咗先。Okay, so we need to multiply 5 minus 4i over 5 minus 4i. Okay, and then for the top part, it is 9 minus i times 5 minus 4i, and then for the lower part, it is 5 plus 4i times 5 minus 4i. Okay, and then for the top part, we need to do the multiplication expanding the bracket. Okay, it's 9 times 5 is 45, and then 9 times 4i is minus 36i, minus 5i, and then plus 4i square. Okay, 即係4個 term 係嘛？兩個 term 乘兩個 term 嘅話咧，出咗4個 term 出嚟嘅。And then for the denominator, it is a square minus b square. Okay, and then for the numerator, so we have 45, and then minus 36i minus 5i becomes minus 41i, and then plus 4 times negative 1. Okay, and this is 25 minus 16i squared. Okay, and the top part 45 minus 4 is 41, and then minus 41i, and lower part is 25 minus 16 times negative 1. It is 41 also. Okay, so when you split the fraction into two parts, it is 1 minus 1i, or just 1 minus i. Okay, and then for part B, let me do it here. Part B, so we will have negative 7 minus 24i over 2 minus i. It is equal to negative 7 minus 24i over 2 minus i times 2 plus i over 2 plus i. Okay, and then you really multiply them together. Top times top, bottom times bottom. Okay, and you expand the bracket. 拆括好小心啲啊，尤其是啲正負號啊。So negative 14 minus 7i minus 48i minus 24i squared. And then we have 2 square minus i squared. Okay, and then we have negative 14 minus 55i plus 24 over 4 minus negative 1. So we will have 10 minus 55i over 5, and then split into two parts, 2 minus 11i. So that is the final answer. It's okay? OK， 呢度俾個反應我。如果呢 part OK 嘅，可唔可以俾個 like 我 ？OK， so if you are OK for this part, please give me a like or a clap. OK， so please give me a response here. If you are OK for this part, please give me a like or a clap. If you are not OK, please raise your hand. If you have any part not OK, please raise your hand. 好 good。好啦，嗱，跟住咧，我哋學完呢一種即係直接除啦，係嘛？咁跟住咧，我哋就會有一啲嘅未知數咯噃，係嘛？通常都係咁樣噶。呢度咧，不過今次咧就唔係叫你求嘅未知數，佢都係叫你化簡。不過當中咧就係有一啲嘅 k 喺度嘅，你最終嘅答案咧係 in terms of k 嘅。咁但係你要做嘅嘢都係一樣嘅啫。OK， can see this 1 minus k has no problem at all. Okay, you do not need to change it. But the problem is here, 2ki divided by 1 plus I. Okay, so the problem is we have an I term in the denominator. So what is the solution? Is to multiply the conjugates. Okay, we have 1 plus I, so we need to multiply 1 minus I over 1 minus I. Okay, to this fraction. And then you simplify this fraction, simplify, simplify, simplify. Okay, and finally, you just add the like terms together. Okay, calculate the like terms. And then separate the real part and the imaginary part. Okay, I mean group the terms according to whether it is real part or imaginary part. Okay, so it's just like this. So now I would like you to do the instant rule number 10 also. Instant rule number 10. 不如我一次過講埋先啦。Example 11. Example 11. The question asks you to simplify this and express the answer in the form of a plus bi. So both of them are not okay because both of them has I term in the denominator. So we need to simplify the fractions one by one first. Okay? So for the first fraction, we need to multiply the 3 plus I times 3 plus I. And then for the second fraction, we need to multiply 2 plus I over 2 plus I, right? Okay? And then after simplifying each of the fraction, you put them back together and do the subtraction and simplify the like terms. Okay? So just like the solution in the next page. Okay? So this is the second fraction, simplifying to this format, and then putting them back into the question, finding the subtraction, and then you put the real parts. You calculate the real part, and you calculate the imaginary part. Okay, separately. You calculate the real part and imaginary part separately. And finally, you get this a plus bi format. Okay? So it is like this. And so I think I will stop here. And I would like you to finish the instant rule number 10 and instant rule number 11 yourselves. Okay? 咁咧，功課裏邊有冇啲題目係有問題嘅？有冇啲題目係想我講嘅仲？嗱，今日我教完呢度之後咧，就應該可以做得晒㗎啦啲功課。Okay? So do you have any problems up to now? If you have no problems, then I'll stop here. Okay, so please remember to submit the homework. Okay, so goodbye.
老 Sir，
係
可唔可以講 instant drill 11A 啊
？11A 好啊，我而家講係嘛？
嗯。
OK。
因為做到一半激死咗咯。
咩死咗啊？
做到一半激死咗。
激死咗 ，OK。好，等等啊。11A。你係分開做定係一次過做㗎？我試下。
一次過做。
一次過做。
嗯。
即係咁樣樣。
係，一係我用嗰個 Math App send 咗俾你，然後睇下會唔會喺邊度做錯。
哦，好啊，好啊，都好啊。OK。
哦，唔係啊，我睇咗啦。
你睇咗咩啊？
佢前面嗰部分啊，你睇 WhatsApp 啊，你先生。
你係咪變咗個 I 減3啊 ？send 咗，成咗。
我成咗。哦，係啊 ，I 減3。
睇應該係成咩㗎？知唔知？嗱，因為咧係啦，因為咧一定即係變正負號改變嗰個一定係 I 嗰 part 嘅 imaginary part 嘅， 所以佢成日都會陰你咧。佢 I 嗰 part 寫咗喺前邊嘅話咧，你就要睇清楚。其實我哋要乘嘅咧，應該係3減 I over 3減 I。記唔記？記唔記？唔係 I 減3啊！
即係改正我一定要改 I。
但係乘完 I 減3個答案都啱嘅。
其實都得嘅，其實都得嘅。OK， 不過有陣時咧會有啲嗱，如果你乘咗 I 減3嘅話咧，咦唔係喎 ，I 減3唔啱喎應該。I 減3啊都得嘅，都得。你會多咗啲負號喺分母嘅應該係嘛？個分母係負數嘅，其實就會麻煩咗少少。OK。
好啦 ，thanks。
你 send 俾我睇啊，好嘛？但係個做法就係咁樣噶啦，其實冇特別嘅呢題。
好。
OK， 你
就啱啱炒晒喎。
你炒晒？
啱啱聽人哋講之後，炒咗又重新做緊咯。
你睇下，你再做過，跟住你就 send 俾我睇啊。使唔使我做一次啊？
唔使啦。
你試咗先好嘛？
好啊 ，thanks。
OK，拜拜。
拜拜。
係老實。
拜拜。